So good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the presentation on North Claybelt Community Futures Development Corporation. Thank you to the CAP Chamber for having me this afternoon to present a bit of what we do. I'll speak about like our specific region, but also like CFDCs as a whole. So if we have people here on the video from Hertz, then you would fall under the Nordaski area, and I would be able to provide you with their information. Their services are not exactly the same, but it is very similar. So we'll go through more information. So we provide local solutions for local economies. So my name is José Labelle. I am the business development consultant. So basically what we are is a community-based agency where we foster sustainable economic growth, diversification, and business development. Our catchment area is from Iroquois Falls to Opuzadeka. We are supported by FedNor, and so through their funding, we organize an investment fund to help new or existing small businesses with their startup, expansion, or stabilization projects. The whole goal here is to maintain and create jobs. So our role is to provide support to communities and basically small to medium businesses. And again, FedNor is our funder. So so you can see here our little map of our area, so Opuzadeka to Iroquois Falls. And then you can see all of northeastern Ontario. So basically CFDCs like exist all through Canada, in all rural areas. So there is a CF Canada website as well as the CF Ontario website, so people can find basically where their area falls into. You can see so all of Northern Ontario is covered. So it's all considered to be rural. So anywhere from Muskoka to Parry Sound would have a similar organization. So, and what I also wanted to say is that, so basically the whole idea with CFDCs is that our local board of directors is all local community members, and they make decisions on our specific area. So everything that is offered, like we have a baseline as to what we offer, but the different loan products and programs available do vary from area to area, in the goal that we have provide flexibility and can adapt to the reality of our communities, basically. So at North Claybelt, we offer business counseling, investment services, and youth internship programs. So those are the three main things that I do offer. We're going to go more in depth into it, and there are specific programs that are complementary, but that are not always available. So it comes as need be or funding is available. So right now, the main program that we are running is the Regional Relief and Recovery Fund. So this is for basically it's the equivalent of the CEBA, so the Canadian Emergency Benefit Assistance, and so it's for businesses that were not able to qualify for that. So oftentimes those businesses are either too new, because to get the CEBA you had to show like 1 year of financial statement. So let's just say you started your business in November 2019. Well, you don't have much to show, right? And you had to show that you were profitable. And I mean, at the beginning, any startup, that's not necessarily like a reality. You have more expenses than you have revenues for the first year, 2 years kind of thing. So it is a different approach. So basically, to be eligible, applicants must have been established prior to March 1st, 2020, have been impacted adversely by COVID-19, and viable and not experiencing other financial difficulties prior to March, which, as I said, if you were a new business and starting out, like, I mean, it is normal that you were not showing profit. So we go by your projected financials as you were starting your business. So different approach. Um, and then that's it. Applications can be submitted for up to $60,000. So same thing as a SEBA really. Um, it must be paid in full by December 31st, 2022, in order to receive the forgivable portion. Um, Out of the first 40, 25% is potentially forgivable, and 50% of the additional 20 is forgivable, is again potentially forgivable. So the whole thing here is that with SEBA, you apply, you receive automatically the whole 40,000. Um, if you're like an entrepreneur that works by themselves and you have no employees, depending on your business venture, you might not necessarily need that full 40 or $60,000. So what we do is you have to show your expenses, and we go the route of seeing for how much you can qualify. So there are specific areas like utilities, rent. Like, of course, if you got like the rent subsidy, you can't apply for that one as well. But if you didn't get any programs and you do need help, or whatever shortfalls that there were, that wasn't involved in those programs, then that is something that can qualify. So again, the only businesses that can get both the SEBA and this program are hotels. And in that case, they just get, like, it's a full-on loan. So it's a no interest loan, but they don't get the forgivable portions at that point. But because hotels, if anyone's in the hotel business here, hotels have crazy high expenses, especially like even just property taxes are very, very high. And so this is a way to be able to help those businesses survive. So another program that we have right now, this one is actually run through the Kirkland Lake office. It is, so you apply through us and they disperse a fund. So this one is called the COVID Safety Protocol Project. It is a non-repayable contribution of up to $5,000 to assist with the costs related to adapting to new and existing operating protocols. So this is like you have to, it can't be for PPE. So no mask, anything disposable is not covered. So it's really for like adaptations or really big items that you had to change. So in terms of like signs, plexiglasses, if you had to add like the soap dispensers, you can get sink added in, automatic doors, things like that. As long as we can show that it is a direct link with COVID and that it reduces your risk, then that is like you have no portion that you have to put in. So typically grant projects, you have to put in like 10%, 20%. This is like the full 100 is covered through that project. If it is under $5,000, and you contact me and I can give you the application form. You have to attest to say that you haven't received funding for those programs. So for those of you who did get the Ontario Small Business Grant, I believe that one you had to put in like what it was for, and a lot of people use it for like plexiglasses and things like that. So in that case, those would not qualify. But anything new that you did not get funding for could qualify, and you have to show receipts and proof of payment of those items to be able to get them refunded. So another COVID program right now, which is pretty much the last COVID program that we have available right now, is the post-COVID-19 professional services relief. And that is to basically access capital to engage in professional services. So it's for businesses that have been impacted with COVID and that need some type of professional to help them figure out the next stages. So it can be business planning, business development, consultations, things like that. So as long as you can show that it is a professional need that you need to hire out, it can't be like paying your own employees kind of thing to do this. So it has to be through a third party. But again, $5,000, 100% financed, and you have to show proof of payment for that one as well. So that is another great initiative that has been put together by the Kirkland Lake office. This one is a longer term project that has been going on. It's called the Northern Ontario Women. This one is actually run out of the land back office, which is on Manitoulin Island. So this one's a little bit different in the sense of like, I can help clients apply, but like that's where it ends pretty much. You go through the land back office, and they have the process in that route. So basically, it is for women-owned and women-led businesses to help them with startup and scale-ups throughout northeastern Ontario. So it's accessing one-time professional fees. So it can be like pay your year-end taxes kind of thing because you're dealing with an accountant. It has to be something different. So like, let's just say exportation projects, or hiring a business consultant or something to be able to show that you want to grow your business and increase your sales and revenues basically. So this one works a little bit differently. It's intake. So right now the last intake ended last Friday. So the next one, they're taking intakes until November, and I think it's just in November that they evaluate them. So if you do have a project, you can go through the process, but it will take time before you get an answer for this one. But again, 100% financing up to $5,000, I believe, that one as well. So these are our regular loan programs. So they do change sometimes. Right now, so we have access to capital, which is basically just loans. So up to 250. We can technically now go up to 300. And it's maybe available for startup or expansion projects, as long as we can show that it creates employment. And by employment, I mean, as the entrepreneur, it creates employment for you. It doesn't have to create 20 jobs kind of thing. Like, so it's just, we have to show that it is, for the amount of money, it does make sense, and it does stimulate the economy. So it can be approved by way of, there's different programs. So there's term loans, which is, let's just say you want to buy a building to house your business or equipment, then we would put those on X amount of years. You pay it out at the end. Bridge loans are a bit different. Bridge loans are more like if you apply for, let's just say, NHFC, because a lot of people in our area do apply for that program. So if you were to get a grant from NHFC, the way that they operate is that you get approved, let's just say, for $200,000, but you have to spend that 200 to get it reimbursed. Well, not everyone has $200,000 lying around kind of thing. So we, at the same time that you apply for phase 2 of the NOHFC program, you apply with us. Once you're approved with them and we have the contract, we advance those funds. So that 200 we would put up front. In the meantime, you would just pay the interest on that one, and they would pay it out full once you complete your project. So just so to give you that cash flow basically is how it works. We also do loan guarantees, which oftentimes fall into the bank. So the bank, for lines of credit, it's the easiest way to do it. So usually they ask that for a certain return, so they do like ratios to see where you are. If you don't necessarily fall within those ratios, sometimes they will ask if we can put money in a GIC, so that if the client doesn't make the payments, then technically they have access to that money and they can pay out their loan on their end, right? So that is a program that we offer, and then we charge a certain percentage yearly, and we reduce it on a certain amount of years. So that is an option. And equity investments, we don't do as much of, but it would be basically taking partial ownership of your business in return. So in the sense of like we get dividends and while you still have a loan. But it's not something that we typically do. It would probably be more in the case of like research and development projects or things like that, where you won't necessarily be able to make loan payments for a while. Um, and then these, for sure, like all of these programs are flexible. They'll it's to contact me to see if you can qualify, and talk about your specific project. But there's no like specific sectors that don't qualify, or we're pretty much open to be able to help all of our local businesses, and it just depends on basically your credit, your down payment, your um, business idea. Like there's a lot of flexibility in it, and it is a different approach from banks, but we'll talk about that a little bit later. There is also the business enhancement loans. So these ones are to assist businesses with like marketing. So it is for like, let's just say you want to go to the home and cottage show in Toronto, which right now would be tough. But typically, if you wanted to have a booth there as a business, it is several $1,000s. And so this type of loan would allow you to be able to participate. It is there's no interest for a year. So the whole thing is you want to make sure that it's paid out by the end of that year. And then it provides you with that opportunity without tying up all of your cash flow. There, last but not least, there is the business plan initiative, which supports private sector businesses to basically hire a third-party consultant again. So most of the ones that I see is for business plans. So we put up, oh, okay, I thought more information was on there. We put up 50% of the amount up to $3,000. So so that you can pay that consultant. If once the plan has been made, if you go ahead with the project, then you don't have to pay that amount back. If you don't go ahead with the project, then you have to pay half of it back. So in the case of $3,000, you'd have $1,500 that you have to pay back, and then there's interest that is charged and everything, so that you have to make those payments. So yeah, that would be the third big program that we have right now. And last but not least, so anything that is over $300,000, we can do in-house. So what we do is we basically share the risk with 11 other CFDCs in Northeastern Ontario. So the process is a little bit longer. So typically, someone who does provide me with like a loan application, once I have everything, it takes like a few weeks and we have an answer. In the case of bigger projects that have to go through the investment pool, it has to go through me. You get that answer from the board. After that, it has to go through to a third-party consultant. They do an evaluation, have that submitted to all of the partners before it can be approved. So it's more like a 3-month-ish project, like process for that one. So it is a longer process, but it is something that is available so that we can help with bigger endeavors. So other interesting thing is that right now, with COVID, we haven't been charging interest on our loans since March 2020. That will continue until the end of September. So anyone, if you are to get a loan this month, you wouldn't have any interest to pay until October. And so that is an initiative that our board has decided to put forward in order to help our businesses survive and grow. So what sets us apart is basically that we have a lot of flexibility. There's no penalties if you pay out like too quickly. The goal basically is always to stimulate the economy. So all of the interest that is generated goes back into projects and other loan programs. So it is to keep on helping the community. So in terms of business counseling, I always find it good. Like anyone who's looking to start a business and isn't really sure where to go, you can come to us, just in the sense of it's free on the counseling side. If someone wants to apply with their local bank, then there's no issue as well. But I can still help in figuring out like legalities. So applying with the town. Do you want to apply with the chamber if you're interested? In terms of insurance policies, environmental issues, depending on what you're looking at in terms of business. So it's basically helping the client go through that process, as well as the business planning portion. So anyone who's going to be looking for funding on the business side does need a business plan. And so I can't write a business plan for you, but I do have a template that I share and that I can revise. So typically that's how we go back and forth, and I send you my comment until it's something that is satisfactory to both of us. And then you can submit it either to me for funding, for grant programs, or to another financial institution. So that is something that is offered. And yeah, different liaisons with different banks and different programs. The Investment Northeastern Ontario Youth Internship Program was another one that I mentioned at the beginning. So that one is to hire specialized young professionals for 12 months to work on specific like projects. So that one is there are specific sectors that do qualify. So something in innovation, digital economy, or trade and marketing. So we contribute up to 31,500, which would mean 50% of the cost for not only salaries, but like employee benefit expenses, training, if there's travel for training as well. So it's basically to help the youth migration come back to Northern Ontario, and be able to help our local businesses as well secure knowledgeable workers. So that is the goal for that one. And that is something that I can, if you are interested, I can send you the application for. Our executive director, Linda, does most of the community development. So one of our big parts of our organization is to help public and private sector organizations in the communities to strengthen our economy. So we offer programs, workshops, and seminars like much like I am doing right now. And we, when I say we, this is mostly Linda, implements strategic plans that help guide the local economy and cooperate with other organizations to build a vision for our community. So for different boards, programs, and I don't know, yes, I did put it in here. The Special Initiative Fund is one actually that goes under the community development. And that is a program for nonprofit organization. They can apply for up to $1,000 of grant contribution. So 50% of the cost to be able to implement economic development initiative. So that one is one that Linda would be the one to provide you with the application form for that. And our board of directors does review those and decide who will be able to qualify. Another interesting program that we have is Head Start in Business. So that is completely different from what I do. So that one is a program that does experimental programming to introduce the concept of entrepreneurship as a viable career option for youth 4 to 34. So I mean, we start in pre-kindergarten in schools. So right now, all of these programs are being done virtually, of course. But in the past, we did have camps and different programs in schools directly with the kids, but it's been going very, very well delivering those virtually. So they connect young people at an early age with their communities to encourage them to seek innovation solutions and to find solutions to the problems that they can see. So that is a very interesting program that is available as well. So basically, I think the whole thing is that if you're interested in entrepreneurship, we're here to help, regardless of what it is, and we can figure out how we fit into your situation, pretty much. Thank you very much. We also have satellite offices in Iroquois Falls and Cochrane, which right now, realistically, with COVID, it's everyone's a satellite office tap as well. So any questions? No? Okay. So if anyone has any questions or would like to contact me directly for private questions, then you're more than welcome to reach out. Right now, the easiest way is probably by email, and I will give you a call. So I can provide my email address to Veronique if you would like to distribute that to everyone. Okay, so that's it.